Ahmed, he did good to Khalid. He did a virtuous act. He helped Khalid out. It involves other people. And this is ihsan, doing good. But it also means doing things to the best of your ability. So, Brother Suleiman is making a video. If he makes this video or this film, best of his ability, edits it nicely, puts some music or whatever it is, and nasheed in the beginning, and then he puts it on YouTube and everybody watches it, mashaAllah, he works hard. Rather than just getting it out and say, right, put it in the back of the cupboard. You know, he strived to do it, and this is what we're asked to do by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know, in everything that we do. So, what is ihsan? This was the question asked to our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he said to do things as if you're doing them in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah's watching you and you're doing it. Right? Imagine how we would do deeds if we imagine Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you're praying and you feel Allah's watching you, it would be a different prayer. You know, Allah's in front of you, subhanallah. Your mindset would be different. But Allah's presence is there. Okay? He sees you, but you don't see Him. So the second version of this is, you know, you imagine that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is seeing you. So you do the deeds to the best of your abilities. And when the Prophet ﷺ explained this, he said, Sadaq, you have spoken the truth. Now, the next part. So we've got horizontal, we've got the vertical, and then we've got what I call the depth. Okay? This is the three dimensions of our life. So, the next part, it talks about the Day of Judgment. When is the Day of Judgment? Right? This man, he said, when is it? And our Prophet ﷺ, he said, neither the questioner or the one who's being questioned knows the answer. Neither I nor you know the answer to that question. He said, okay, tell me some of the signs of the Day of Judgment. And our Prophet ﷺ gave two signs. One is that you will see barefooted shepherds, you know, who were penniless, who were poor. They are competing with each other to build high-raised buildings, skyscrapers. And yet they were poor, but they're busy competing with each other, building these. Have you ever noticed it's always the countries that want to prove something that they build these, you know, huge towers? I think the tallest tower used to be in Canada, or was it in America probably, then Canada, and then Singapore, and now where is it? Dubai or somewhere?
Dubai.
Yeah, and there's one in London, and then we've got one here, Hilton Tower in Manchester. You know, people want to show something, prove something, you know, symbols of their success. So you'll see these herdsmen, you know, who were just looking after sheep, barefooted, penniless. Now they're competing with each other. And you see even this kind of thing in many Muslim countries. You know, you find the worker here in Britain, he'll go back to his country and make a castle, or make a palace, or something grand. And many times nobody lives there. He's busy here with his business, and you find he doesn't want anybody else to occupy that space, and it's just cockroaches and rats and other insects that live there. So this is the first sign. Second sign is that a woman will give birth to her mistress, her master. She'll give birth to her master. What does that mean? Maybe at the time of our Prophet ﷺ, it meant something else. Because there was this aspect of slavery, that people, you know, somehow they'll give birth to children who would be free. Right? But here, in our time, because we don't have slavery and so on, but we have aspects of slavery, child labor and forced labor and all this kind of thing, it means disobedience of children. That, you know, the mother has the daughter there, and the daughter has some of her friends, and she said, "Mother, bring tea, mother, bring cake, mother, bring this," you know, and poor mother's in and out of the kitchen, serving her own daughter, serving the daughter's friends. It means somehow there is social upheaval, there is no respect for the parents. So these are two signs which are mentioned in this particular hadith. Of course, other hadith, they mention other signs. Maybe some of you can name some signs. Other signs, what we call the minor signs of the Day of Judgment. So this is one. These are two. The shepherds building buildings, and no respect for the parents. Can you name any others?
Increase in natural disasters.
Yeah, that's one of the major signs. Yeah. Natural earthquakes and so on, yeah.
Women's hair will be like the camel.
Yeah, there are mention of clothing, maybe men dressing up as women, this is one. And women wearing clothes, they appear as if they are wearing clothes, but they are still naked. You know, they're wearing clothes, but they still appear naked. So, you know, all these are signs, many signs that you find in other hadiths which support this. And then this man, he said, "Sadaq, you have spoken the truth." And then he leaves. And our Prophet ﷺ, he turned to Umar and he said, "Umar, do you know who that was?" He said, "Only Allah and His Messenger knows." "I don't know." He said, "That was Jibreel alayhi salam, the angel Jibreel. He came to teach you your religion." So this is the hadith in total, and from that we can see where things lie. Now, the last sentence was, you know, this Jibreel is come to teach you your religion, deen. Religion in Arabic is deen. What does it mean? Deen comes from dain. Dain is a debt. So Rabiea gives me £500 and I owe him a debt. I have to pay that money back. So this is dain, some kind of debt. So what's the debt? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He made a human being. He guided us to Islam. So we owe something back. And what do we owe back? All these things. The 5 pillars, the prayer, fasting, testifying, hajj, and then the beliefs that we strongly believe in those things. It's not just a question of saying, well, angels, you know, I'm not sure if they exist, or, you know, do they have big wings, and, you know, did somebody film them, or, you know, I'm not seeing one on the YouTube, so maybe they don't exist anyway. And so, is to have strong belief in all those things, and to have this ability that whatever you're doing, you do it with ihsan, with a good heart, to the best of your physical ability. And in that way, it ensures that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will accept it. Now, in our life, we have many occasions, many ways of doing things. Let me give you an example. Knocking on somebody's door. Islam, it tells you how to do that. Right? You might say, well, no problem, just knock on the door if somebody comes. No. The Prophet ﷺ, he gave a detail of how to do it with ihsan, with the best of behavior, with the best of manners and conduct. So the Prophet ﷺ said, when you knock 3 times. So you knock once, nobody opens the door. Again, nobody. And by the way, this also works with the bell. You might say, I can't knock at the bell. Ring the bell, 1, nobody opens. 2nd, 3 times, and then go away. Even if the person is inside, he doesn't have to open the door. Could be in the middle of something. You know, could be busy. Or, he doesn't want to be disturbed. He's tired. You know, he's just ready for bed. He knows when you come in, you sit for 3 hours. So that's his choice, not to open the door. And to speak through the letterbox, you know, I know you're in there, open the door, or look through, the curtain, or look through the letterbox. Our Prophet ﷺ, he even allowed us to poke somebody. If you look through the letterbox, put your finger in his eye to do that. So, that's to teach us how to behave in the correct manner. How we knock on the door, how we open the door, and why we shouldn't open the door at time. Because sometimes people come very late. 11 o'clock, and you say, oh, I'm here, let's have a nice chat. And he's not going to go till about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and you've got work. So sometimes it's physically impossible to entertain a person. Okay, let's summarize this. So what have we said? We said we have the horizontal plane, which is the 5 pillars. We have the vertical, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the top, and then the angels, and then the prophets, and the revelation, the books, and then the Day of Judgment. Now why do we have the Day of Judgment? What's the reason for that? Is it Allah wants to punish you, and why do we have it? Day of Judgment. That's the question. Who will give the answer?
Justice.
It's a very good answer. Yeah? Because in this life, you may escape justice. Like Jimmy Savile. He committed so many crimes against children. Nobody caught him. He got away with it. But he doesn't get away with it in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And sometimes people get caught. The Yorkshire Ripper, do you remember Yorkshire Ripper? He killed, how many was it 15, 20 women? Right? What happened to him? He was put in prison. Well, in prison, he has a television. He can attend courses. He has meals, hot meals, cooked meals. I think it's probably better than, life in there than many people have outside. I remember visiting an elderly lady who had so much debt. And I said to her, you better pay off this debt, otherwise you might finish up in prison. She said, I want to go to prison, it's nice. I'll have my food, there's no council tax, no gas bill, no electric, It's better life. So, yes, sometimes you can escape things in this world. You can embezzle people, you can rob people, and nobody asks you to account. But in the hereafter, like Rabiea said, there is ultimate justice. That nobody is wrong on this earth, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gives you your full right. So on the Day of Judgment, you have the full right. Now, so it's very important that we set affairs straight whilst we are alive. Because if you offended somebody, he's going to turn up in the hereafter and say, well, he said this to me and said that. So you say, sorry, I'm sorry, let's make friends, forget that. So to make up in this world. So we don't want to be questioned about anything in the hereafter. So we can see